What's up, guys? Specstar here today with actually my week 3 battle of the DGBA. And if you're wondering where my week 2 battle is, I'm also wondering where my week 2 battle is. I've been John by my opponent, and instead of battling him, I'm gonna face Hughes, who's stepping in for him. But it happened at the end of the week, and he still needs to prep. So first I went ahead and I faced Soap, who you may recognize from a battle in my UNL league, and this is my week 3 battle, which I'm deciding to do first. So without further ado, I'm facing a team here that's consisting of Latias, Darmanitan, Raikou, Mamoswine, Roserade, and Mimikyu. And my team here is a team with a timid 252 Mega Latios, of course max speed for his Latias. It's got Roost, Ice Beam, Hidden Power Fire for something that didn't come, and Draco Meteor. I have a Celesteela, which is physically defensive with some speed. It has Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, Flamethrower, and Protect. I have a Scarf, Hoopa Unbound with Dark Pulse, Psyshock, Focus Blast, and something that I do not remember, because my memory is, of course, established terrible when I'm remembering my Pokemon sets. And I have an Assault Vest, Zeraora, which is Naughty Nature, or Lonely Nature actually, which is Subtract Defense, and it's Assault Vest with Close Combat, Plasma Fist, Outrage, and Grass Knot. And I have a Mungus, which is physically defensive with Spore, Hidden Power Fire, Giga Drain, and Foul Play. And I actually have, interestingly, a lead Empoleon, which is Focus Sash. It's got a bit of speed, quite a bit of speed actually. It's a special attack boosting nature with also some physical attack investment. It's got Surf, Aqua Jet, Knockoff, and Earthquake, which was largely to hit a Lantern, which did not come incidentally. I did think Lantern was a very possible bring with Zeraora, Celesteela, and Empoleon, but I guess the Mungus is a pretty effective deterrent, and so is Mega Latios, so it's not too out there that it didn't come. And let's dive right into this, shall we? I decided that I wanted to lead off with, of course, Empoleon, because it was a design lead. So let's get this going. I lead Empoleon, he leads Mamoswine. I'm just gonna click Surf, no real reason not to. He's gonna get up his rocks, which are a little bit annoying for me. I don't really have any hazard control on this team, didn't really need it, I thought. And I'm gonna go for an Aqua Jet here, and good play by him. He's actually gonna switch out and scout that. Here on the Roserade, I decide I'm just gonna click Knockoff. He'll put me to sleep, so here I'm actually gonna go into my Latios, which is just my best response. Or no, I'm gonna stay in here first. I kinda wanted to see what he was, get some information, and now I'm gonna go into my Latios. I'm gonna save the Empoleon for now because I do not want something else to be put to sleep, particularly my Latios. And here I'm gonna go Ice Beam, and he's actually gonna go into his Latias, and I'm gonna hit it pretty hard, except I'm gonna crit it, which is always very bittersweet feeling, because unfortunate for my opponent, and I always love a clean game, but getting rid of that Latias is also very nice for me in this game. He brings out the Mimikyu. My Amoonguss is just my best response to this. He's gonna go into Roserade, and I'm going to actually make the play into Latios, predicting that to put some pressure on him. I'm gonna click Ice Beam. He does not really have a good response to Latios, so he's just gonna sack his Mamoswine. And here he's gonna go back into Mimikyu, and I'm just gonna make the same play into Amoonguss here. I'm not really wanting to take too many chances with Mimikyu, but Here I'm actually going to stay in, and I'm going to click Spore, because last time I went into Latios predicting the Rose Raid, and I thought I might be able to get him here. And then I'm actually going to go into Latios again, thinking he'd want to save Mimikyu, because it actually has some decent potential and it prevents something else from getting sleeped, but he's just going to let it go down. I'm getting a little bit behind here. I decide while I have my Latios out, he's only burned one sleep turn. I'm getting pretty low with Latios, and I do have a Mungus to come in on the Mimikyu. So I decide I want to Roost actually to get my health back, because he most likely will not be waking up here. And that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to Roost off here. And now I'm going to go back into a Mungus as he manages to burn through all his sleep turns. Actually, he gets a 3-turn sleep, which is unfortunate for him, but now he's definitely going to wake up. He goes out into Darmanitan here, and I actually clicked the foul play. It was just my safest kind of catch-all play. And I'm going to sack my Empoleon now. I do love to have something asleep here, but Empoleon was just, something was going down there pretty much. And I'm going to Aqua Jet the Darmanitan just to break its sub, of course. And now I'm going to bring out my Latios just to get the revenge kill on this thing. Latios is a Pokemon that makes sure he doesn't have a safe way to switch it out and preserve it. Just going to click Ice Beam as I've been clicking. Here he's going to bring out his Mimikyu. I know the thing's about to wake up, so I'm going to go right out into my Amoonguss. And he's actually going to make the play in a Rose Raid there, so good play on my opponent's part. He's wanting to put something to sleep, and I'm going to stay in actually. I thought now he may choose to attack me because I have stayed in, and I'm going to make the play out into my Latios. But he actually catches me with the double sleep powder, so good play of my opponent's behalf there. He gets my Latios to sleep. I want to try and burn sleep turns because I know Latios can still be an answer to Roserade. He brings out the Mimikyu, and I'm just going to go into Amoonguss as I've done. And he's going to go for Shadow Claw. Here I thought he wouldn't want to let the thing get slept again. Mimikyu is definitely his win condition, and I thought he would not want to let it get slept again. I just thought it would be too big of a risk for him. But he actually stays in as I go into my Hoopa Unbound, and that is not a good turn for me. And he goes for Swords Dance, and that is, at this point, I was kind of scrambling here. I was pretty confident that he would want to save Mimikyu, but I have to be as objective in my analysis of this as possible. I think that was a risk I didn't have to make. And it's kind of a tendency of mine when I'm pretty sure what my opponent's going to do, I kind of act like it's definitely going to happen. And I was pretty sure he'd switch it out, and for all of you watching, that was just, I'm up in this game. Like, I was clearly up. That was a risk I shouldn't have made. I should not have given him a chance to Swords Dance with his Mimikyu. And I'm going to have to go back into Amoonguss here, and I'm going to catch a Play Rough. And he is actually going to reveal, he's going to reveal right here that he's got the Z move, and it's Ghostium Z, and it's going to take out my Amoonguss. And now I went from having what was seemingly an insurmountable lead to I'm in a position where I really have to try and pull this out with late game plays. I'm going to click Flamethrower here just because it breaks his disguise and also has a burn chance. It also, I guess it's mostly just that. And I'm going to go into my Zeraora here. I'm Assault Vest. It's an always answer to his Raikou, and I'm going to click Plasma Fist in case he opts to switch out, but also because it puts him in range of close combat without me having to close combat first, which I did not want to do. And I'm going to close combat here and actually get a crit, which is pretty unfortunate for him. It puts him in range of Plasma Fist. If I did not get that, I would have tried to go back into my Latios and bring it back potentially, but this lets me finish it off with Plasma Fist, and that's unfortunate. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And I am just going to click my Plasma Fist here, and I'm going to get the KO. But this game is still not over, actually. He was on a Mimikyu. I just want to break its disguise. I really wanted to break the Mimikyu's disguise so that I could bring in Celesteela and revenge kill it. He actually predicts me to go hard into Celesteela. If I went hard into Celesteela on a sword stance, there was a potential I could kind of screw up the game, so I just had to click Plasma Fist and break its substitute. And that was what I had to do there. And he's gonna go into Raikou, and I'm gonna hit him with the Plasma Fist. And here he's gonna go right back into Mimikyu, and I'm gonna get to break its disguise. So those kind of plays were pretty costly for him. I'm not really sure if I would have made those plays, but at that point I think he felt like he kind of had to make some sort of play. And at this point it just kind of set up for Hoopa. No matter what happens, Hoopa's kind of taking this. Here he goes back into Raikou. I do not know why at all, but I'm sure he has an explanation of some sort. And he's going to take me out with the Mimikyu, and I'm just going to go out into my Hoopa and end this with a Dark Pulse. So that was a pretty interesting game. You know, I've gotten pretty good at League format to the point where I really don't screw it up too much. But that play I made with the Moongus was one I regret. The play switching out into Latios on the sword stance. I think it's just a good lesson that when you're in a position where it's really your game to lose, you really should avoid having to be aggressive in any situation where you can. And I made a play that I was trying to be aggressive, and I was pretty sure what he was gonna do, but the play wound up putting me in a position where I could have lost a game that was very far in my favor. And it's just those are the plays you gotta look out for, because so many games are decided by plays that they're not really obvious chokes, but they're plays that you don't really have to make. And when you're in the front, just avoid any sort of risk you can. If you can avoid a risk anyway, avoid it and you want to click the win condition that's the safest possible. And that was a mistake I made there. I did wind up winning the game regardless, but I think this just kind of goes to show that you can always learn more from a loss than a win. And that was a mistake I made that I will try my damnedest not to replicate again. And I'm going to move on to 1-1 here. So finally got rid of all those losing records. I'm back to 500 and beyond in all my leagues. And I think I'm kind of out of that little bit of a funk I was in, which is really a monkey off my back. And I want to thank you guys for watching this. And I should have my week 2 battle for this up somewhat soon. Have yourselves a good night.